Hey everybody, back at you again with MoonKnight today for the daily sketch card. So, gonna have a straight on simple shot and try to make this as creepy and simple and classic as possible. Um, I just think it's gonna be a neat look to keep it straight on and see how it goes from there. Letting everybody know that I'm here. Yay. Hey Brian, how's it going, buddy? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We're gonna knock this out real quick. Like I said, it's gonna be a straight on shot. So there's not going to be much fuss or muss with it. And it's either going to look really, really sharp or I'm going to screw it up. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I think it's going to be okay. Um, I haven't messed one up too badly yet. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But uh, hey, man, thanks. Well, I appreciate you hanging out. I know it's rare for you to get to during this time of year because it's show season and whatnot, and it's just wild right now. And with these shows changing the way they are, man, it's just crazy. Um, Everybody wanted me to get out there on the circuit this year, and I was just like, no, not gonna do it. Maybe next year. I'm planning on some stuff in 2018 and 2019, but no, 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 not this year. With all the transitions coming up and whatnot, no, it's just not my thing right now. I'd rather be producing comics and uh, not get tied up in that mess. But we'll see where it goes next year. But as of the moment, um, knocking this guy out. Hey, Mike. And we're going to see how it goes because I'm going to put on this hood um, and I'm going to black all this fun stuff out here and show exactly where he's at right along in here because this cape and cowl is very strange in comparison. It's almost like a his design has always been funky because his cape um, has a neck rest piece in it like this, and it's kind of like the it's like a Spider Gwen mimicked it because it goes down over his head and then attaches to his armor and then goes off into the cape, and it's just always been awkward. But since this guy's inception, I have been hooked on him. He was created a year before I was born in 1975, and I tell you what, man, I just came across this by pure luck. I was in a flea market, and this woman normally sold Avon and bric-a-brac and knick-knack stuff and stuff like that. And she had her son's box of comic books. I've talked about this before. Rarely, but there's two situations. One, I bought a box of comics from a couple where the son had died. I bought them from his dad, and this lady, she just had a box of comics that her son wanted to get rid of out of their attic, out of her home, his childhood home, and they brought them to this antique store that they worked at, and it was right next door to the flea market, and that's where we always parked. And I went in there, and she had like 10 comics laying up there, and I thought it was a reprint when I got it. And lo and behold, it was a Werewolf by Night, and it had the first appearance of MoonKnight in it. MoonKnight, excuse me, MoonKnight in it. And I keep getting that mixed up because I'm watching that series on the DVD, the Vampire series, and it's just, yeah. But anyway, yeah, the MoonKnight character just hooked me right then, and I didn't realize it was his first appearance. He was hired as a villain by the Secret Empire to kill the main character of the book, which was a werewolf. And because of his Egyptian curse, he got the curse of the werewolf later. But I found out through a little more research that he is in fact not a werewolf. He is cursed with or empowered with a moon god from Egyptian history and mythology. Um, so that's where he gets his power from, and that's why it gets stronger or weaker depending on the phases of the moon. And he's always charged at night, period, because he's the moon guardian. So I just found all that fascinating, and I did a little research on it before I came on, and I was just like, okay, cool. I didn't know as much about him as I thought I did, but that's freaking phenomenal. Um, so there you have it. But when I found out that was his first appearance, though, I put that book away immediately. I had it for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years before I found out what it was, and had it just generally in my my comic book box collections, mixed among books. Man, it was just crazy. Um, that book it is beyond. It is a beyond the average. It is near mint, and I have it locked away nice and safe, and it's still till this day one of my favorite comic books. But that was my exposure to moonlighting with Moon Knight. So yeah, this dude is just phenomenal. Um, that's gonna be stuck in my head for days now, I'm guessing. But yeah, yeah, my daughter made fun of me yesterday because she said, "You're gonna draw Moon Knight tomorrow, but you called him Moonlight, haha." And I was just like, "Great." But yeah, it is what it is. So whatever. I'm productive, not perfect. So, but anyway. Hey Tom, you made it, man. Alfred and Lewis is jumping on here too. That's cool, man. I appreciate you guys coming by. But running amok, running amok. But yeah, knocking this guy out really quick. And like I said, with having that as the first experience for this character, it was crazy. Um, he didn't show back up in a regular series until I think they released him. They had a miniseries, a two-part miniseries. He came out in '75 as a villain, then showed up in '80, I want to say '83 or '84 with a two-part miniseries appearance, and then he vanished again until 1985 when they introduced him as an actual hero and a character all his own, which was just nuts. Because there was nothing else like that out there. I mean, in comics there was nothing like this guy out there. Not the Spectre, not Doctor Fate, Doctor Strange, anything that was dealing with mythology. It just didn't exist as far as this character went. That's why he went like gangbusters, and a lot of people didn't know that. They like to think that he's been around for a long time, but there was a big 10-year gap in there where he didn't show up at all. I mean, from 75 to, like I said, 83 or 84 when that two-piece came out, that was it, man. They had him show up as a miniseries backup story, and that was it. He was in 2 issues, and then he was gone for another 2 or 3 years. And finally, they made him come out with the new series where he was a full-blown hero, and went from there. But yeah, that was crazy stuff. But as a youngster, when I was collecting comics, man, that was, I just collected anything that interested me, no matter what it was. I didn't care if I got the rest of the series or not. I went by issue to issue storylines at that point. So it just depends on what floats your boat on the interest. But comics aren't quite like that anymore. Yeah, I'm going to grayscale this one. Yeah, I'm definitely going to. I'm going to grayscale this one. It's going to be black and white. I'm going to grayscale it. Well, actually, it's going to be grayscale. But yeah, that's the direction I'm going with this one, Brian. Because there's just not any way to color this out otherwise, because it would just kill it if I did. And I don't want to. I don't want to sketch it up, but I don't want to go off and just leave it open either, because black and white doesn't do it justice. And I don't want to monkey with the gradations. I really don't. So I'm going to bring him out here and make it pop. And then I'm going to leave it be. And I will be doing grayscale on this one, because I do not want to mess with this thing and scribble it all up. And if you're ever drawing this character, if you're interested in drawing this guy, I know they did have different variations of him now with the smooth mask, and whatnot, and all that mess, where he's got almost like a three-piece suit kind of thing going on. If you get into this and you really want to draw this character, I'll tell you, always pop off his moon symbol. Get that crescent moon popped up like a bat symbol and pop it off his chest. That way it separates from his armor. Because if you don't, it doesn't move right. And you will have this thing folding up into positions that just do not look normal at all. I mean, as if a guy running around in, spandex or battle armor is normal anyway. But, with this day and age, you never know. I hear tales all the time about surrounding metros, because Oklahoma City's made up of a bunch of different smaller metros. But I always hear about some of the smaller metros having, their own vigilantes and whatnot that run around in costumes. And, not my cup of tea, but that's all right. If they're running around in their part of the city, they're not messing in mine. So I'm okay with that. Yeah. But you hear weird things everywhere. I mean, there's been documentaries on vigilante heroes that do charity work and feed the homeless and all this mess. And then you got these other knuckleheads that want to run around and try to actually be crime fighters and be the police and whatnot. And you can't really, I'm a law enforcement family member, so I don't condone vigilantism at all. I don't say that you shouldn't protect yourself, but I don't think you should be running around in tights trying to take it on yourself. That's a good way to get killed or get someone innocent killed by that. But whatever, to each their own. People have to handle things and cope in different ways. People are wired different, and sometimes that's the way they go. But not me, man. So I think I'll just keep them on the paper and keep drawing the comics rather than trying to become one. There are a lot of people out there that just go, like I said, they go off the deep end for that stuff. So we'll see. But I think I'm going to check in just regular and be okay with that. But anyway, yeah, this guy is one of the darker urban characters that I really enjoy. Now, I'm going to put the split segments, which are rare. Stephen Platt used to do this when he came in, and David Finch would do this as well. In a lot of his stuff, he would segment the armor for no reason other than to segment it to make it look more mechanical or non-organic or spandexy, and that's a technical term, by the way. So they like to segment this stuff up. I'm not going to make this into like modern Batman armor or anything weird like that. I'm just going to put a couple small segments in here so it shows like he's moving freely. and it's not conjoined or, anything like that, robotic or extreme like that. I just want to segment it up just a little bit to make it look a little different. Some people are going to be like, that's not Moonlight, you changed the costume. But yeah, I'm just making it a little different, because what I'll do is I'll use these as shadow lines, and I won't leave them that way. I'll shade a gradation that way and leave the chest plate, because everybody draws the chest plate different. It's like Batman. Everybody draws the symbol different, and they draw the cowl different with the ears, and they draw the chest plate as a whole different. So that's just my personal take on it. I wanted to strengthen that up a little bit and add it. I don't know if I'll leave it or not, but we'll see. When I ink it, you guys will know. But right now, I want a little bit of diversity to cut that up. And to make it a little more unique and different. Now I'm going to draw in this trim here. Now we have solid lines there. Okay. That's going to be the edge of the hood. Start this one down here. And whenever you're drawing capes and stuff like this and cowls and things, be sure to draw in that edge, because nobody draws in the edge anymore unless they're a three-dimensional artist. And, everybody wants to leave it abstract, so they draw like this broken line, like it fades out kind of thing. Draw that hard edge in there, because it's got a hard edge to it. If you were to yank that off his head, it would have a lip from the fabric being thick and durable, because it's the same fabric that's attached to his cape. So be aware of that, He's all about the textures, man. So, I got asked this morning if I was going to do any more voices on the card, on the live. I was like, I don't know. It comes out naturally. I don't go playing around with it and plan that stuff. And nor did I plan that fly coming in because of the eclipse when we opened the door. He snuck in. The eclipse woke up all the crickets and cicadas and, all that stuff going on outside. It was funny. It didn't get quite dark enough to throw night, but it got like dusk dark here. And it was funny because when it dimmed down, it dropped it dropped the heat like 10 degrees outside. And all the cicadas and crickets and stuff started going off, and it was crazy. Which I find highly amusing, because it's just like it messed them all up. They started singing and chirping and grinding and whatnot. The crickets grinding their legs and making all that noise. It was crazy. But I thought it was amusing. So, but yeah, that Werewolf by Night, I paid either $6 or $7 for that book. Yeah, it was worth a few bucks at the time. In like crap condition, and the lady sold it to me for like I said, $6 or $7, and it was all I had at the time. I was like, okay, cool, because I was still a little kid when I bought that. And I remember being out there with with my little brother, and he thought that was funny. He's like, "You always buy comic books." He said, "That one's going to be stupid." Yeah. So now it's in my private collection, worth some money. It's not an "I told you so." It's just irony, you know. But anyway, I'm going to leave this open for the rest of this, and I'm going to leave the chest plate open. I'm going to darken it right down here. I'm going to shade that off to show the undershadow of his ribs and his arm here, because that's just going to be a blocked segment. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to pop out that insignia real quick. And, you know what, I want to put that line there for his arm because that's a little high. And then I'll color this in. And like I said, I'm going to ink this, so I'll do this kind of frivolously at this point. Not quite as compressed as normal. I'm just going to have to clean that up and ink it. And since I'm gray toning this, it'll be a different deal. I'll have to erase that so it doesn't show up in the gradation. But now what I like to do is I like to take it like this so it looks like a moon a little more. This one, put a tiny ridge right there. And then go here on this side. Pop in a little bit there. Just work it just a little. It's up to you how you do it. But I like it to be a little symbolic of what it's supposed to be. I'm going to have to shrink that eye down. It's a little big. And when I erase this, I'll make those more human-esque. I'm going to round them out here so they don't look so mass cut. There we go. Also makes him look a little creepier. Right up in here, I want to put that drop shadow on that ridge of the eye right there. Since he can't have the tear ducts and the eyeballs like I draw in on pretty much everything, we'll put him like that. Kind of make that look a little more like it has some texture to it. And we are going to call that done until I shade it up because I don't want to mess it up. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it's going to be pretty clean and pretty simple, but we'll see. I'm getting asked if I'm going to do this like now, but no, I'm not going to do it right now. I will do it later. But let me see here. In closing, I've shown a few people these already, but just to give you guys an idea of what the batch is looking like, thought I'd give you guys a little peek at these before we close out. Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Donatello. Got some Ninja Turtles colored, and got some stuff coming out, so I'm going to be posting those this evening, as well as about, I don't know, a dozen others. So just wanted to show you guys progress is coming, and that's going to be our wrap-up sneak peek for the day. And what do we have for tomorrow? I have Black Bolt. I'm going with the original Black Bolt. I don't like the new one that's maskless. That just looks weird to me, like the Inhuman series. He's been doing that for a little bit in the comic books. It just looks off to me. I'm going to go with the original Black Bolt costume for tomorrow. That'll be the next one. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for the time that it took to knock this out, and I'll get it toned up. And like I said, I'll pull out the Copics and start grayscaling this and get it back out for you guys. So until tomorrow with Black Bolt, thanks for hanging. Talk to you then.